The last 6 Dhamma talks, it's about what are we doing, how are we doing, and why are we doing, both in theory and practice together. And that portion we call it Beginners Level 1. So today we will start the Beginners Level 2 with the Dhamma talk number 7. And in here we will touch more into Buddhism. The first level 1 is, without talking about Buddhism, it is simply how to meditate, mindfulness, insight meditation. And first and foremost, we need to know a little bit about Buddhist culture. Buddhist culture is based on love, kindness, politeness, respect, and gratitude. Those qualities are all expressed at all times when we are relating with one another. So, every expression, behavior, manners, and speech somehow is intertwined with it. We stress quite a bit on mutual respect and gratitude, because a lot of people take things for granted. Mutual respect and gratitude means we don't take each other or one another for granted. Put it in a modern way, not for taking granted. So in here, that is in general, we can define it, Buddhist culture, every activity is based on that. But we are stressing more on the meditation, mindfulness, insight meditation. We know how to do, what to do, why we do already, and all the benefits. But there is one important thing. One important thing is, where do we build that meditation upon, this mindfulness, insight meditation? Whenever you build a structure, a building, small or big, you need a very firm, strong foundation. Without that good foundation, whatever you build upon will fall apart eventually, because it's not balanced, it's not grounded. And in Buddhism, everything is based upon the foundation of sila. Call it sila. For lack of a better word, in English translation, we call it morality. Some people don't like to use the word morality, and as soon as they hear the word morality, they back off. But try and understand what this sila means. On the foundation of sila, or precepts of morality, we build this meditation. So whenever we start or we practice a meditation, right at the onset, we take the precepts. Because these precepts, even though we take it, we are not able to observe it fully at all time. Sometimes we break here, we break there. That's why when we start meditation, we start anew. Take the precepts. Because it is the foundation of this meditation. And when we take the precepts, now it's the Buddhist culture comes in. Whatever we are doing, okay, especially this mindfulness insight meditation specifically, it is all taught to us by the Buddha over 2,500 years ago, almost 2006. So in our modern day too, whenever we are saying something, we are writing something, we are quoting something, okay? When somebody has done the work of somebody, we always give credit to that person. You give a quote to that person, so and so, such, and so on. Even in the modern day, when we write books, when we give speeches, when we quote and we give credit to the person who has started it or make it popular. In the same way, whenever we practice this meditation, we give credit to the Buddha who taught us. That is I put it in a very simplistic term. So, how do we give credit? Okay, how do we give credit? That giving credit comes back to the Buddhist culture. We express in terms of our physical deeds or behavior, and also in speech. Okay? Action, physical actions or verbal actions, that is intertwined with love, kindness, grace, respect, and gratitude. Okay? So we do something physically and verbally. Of course, you can do this physical and verbal because there is a thought base already. Without that thought, without that intention, you won't be able to do it. So, no need to say there's a thought as well. Okay, the intent there, and then verbal speech, and then physical deed. So when we take the precepts, we started with a certain actions. Okay. We have a little handout today that's called Homage to the Buddha. Homage to the Buddha is, if you look at it, okay, it's written in Pali on the top, and we always recite that. That is the Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Repeat for 3 times. In short, okay, that short meaning, homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Okay, that itself will take about 30-40 minutes to explain if we want to go in detail. But we will just leave it as that. Okay. So that means we pay homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. That is, when we recite it, we are paying respect to the Buddha in terms of speech, which is based upon the thought. And after that, we say in Pali again, okay, Buddham Saranam Gicchami, Dhammam Saranam Gicchami, Sangham Saranam Gicchami. And here, say, I go to the Buddha as my refuge. Okay. More precisely is, I approach the Buddha for my refuge. I approach the Dhamma for my refuge. I approach the Buddha for my refuge. And whenever we say things, you will hear quite often, we always say 3 times. 2nd time, 3rd time. And why 3 times, you see, or you hear quite often? Because, number 1, when you do the same thing 3 times, you show the seriousness. That is one intent of saying 3 times, doing 3 times. You're very serious. If you are not serious, you won't be repeating it. That is one. And also in the olden days, we don't have, like today, written books or CDs or videos and so on. So a lot of things are learned by heart. And whenever you say something repeatedly again and again and again, that's how one memorizes things. So when you repeat 3 times here, 3 times there, and all the time, automatically you memorize that words or phrases or verses. That is another way of the way by repeating 3 times, the benefit that we get. So that's how we say, and that is a verbal. And of course, we have the thought intention already. And now I will show how do we do in terms of physical actions when we say these things. And first and foremost, when we say, let's take the precepts, at that moment, we always change our position. We change our position this way. We sit on our heels this time, and we keep our palms together in front. Okay. At that moment, we say the word Buddham Pujemi. Buddham Pujemi means I honor and pay respect to the Buddha. And then, after that, we bow down. When you are bowing down, you don't think about anything except you are observing every actions and movements, just like your meditation. And your forehead on the floor, push back up, goes there. Okay. Your 2 knees are touched on the floor. Your 2 elbows are touched on the floor, and your 2 palms are touched on the floor. Basically, is the 2 elbows, 2 palms, as well as the forehead. Some people like this way and do this. Some people do this way. That's up to you. But there are 5 touches. Elbows, knees, and the forehead touch. 5 touching. And why do we do that? And while we are doing that, I already said, at that moment, you think about nothing except you are observing. Let me say it aloud. Bending, bending, bending. That is bending your stretching, stretching, stretching. And if you are aware of, when you are starting to stretch, your fingers starting to fall apart. If that's it, if you are aware of it, know it. Bending, 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 touching, pressing, pressing, leaning, bending, 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 touching, pushing, 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 pressure, pushing, 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 bending, 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 bending. And that's it. And second time, Dhammam Pujemi, I honor and pay respect to the Dhamma. And we bow down second time. And then Sangham Pujemi, I honor and pay respect to the noble ones, the monks. And bow down a third time. And then after that, we repeat that, recite Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. And then we know the verses that we recite. Okay? Those things we recite. And all the time you have that position. And at the end of, after taking the precept, you bow down 3 times saying Buddham Pujemi, Dhammam Pujemi, Sangham Pujemi. So that is the expressions of love, kindness, respect, and gratitude to the Buddha physically. And then verbally is saying it, mentally there is an intent behind it. So that is what the whole thing about taking precepts. Now, why do we say Buddham Pujami verbally? I honor and pay respect to the Buddha, and then you bow down. While you are bowing down, you are not thinking about bowing down. You are only observing every action's movement, all the physical characteristics of the physical process. Why did we do that? Oh, the reason is that I'll have to tell you a story. At the time of the Buddha was alive. Buddhas gave instruction to the monks how to meditate. So the monks took their own path under the tree. This one sat, another one sat over there, this one walked over here, this one walked over there. They do their own meditation. And around that time, the Buddha walked around, check around and see who is doing what is doing and how are they doing. And whenever the Buddha comes, and what happened was the monks stopped. Okay, the monks stopped, put their hands up, and they just let the Buddha go. That's like they thought it's a sign of respect. The Buddha passed by. And at that time, the Buddha gave them, if you want to give respect to me, the best respect you can ever give is practice what I say. Be mindful of what you are doing. That is what the Buddha said. The greatest respect, the best respect that you can give me is if you are practicing what I have taught you. That is Buddha's speech. Yeah, the other one also respect, of course. Stop, put your hands together, heads down. Okay. Just like, big CEO comes and all the employees just stay like that. Just the same way, that because this is the way we give respect in our society. So that's the Buddha said, that's the way it's give the respect. So that is the reason we say, I honor and pay respect to the Buddha. And what we do was, while we are bowing down, we don't think about anything. We are just being mindful and observe and observe and observe. Because that's what we are doing. Why? Because that's what the Buddha has taught us to do, to be mindful. So that is how the respect comes in. And by doing so, we are giving the Buddha the greatest respect we can give. Because he said so. That is the greatest respect you can give me. So that's why we do that. So whenever in Buddhism, if you are doing something, you should know why you are doing, not blindly. And also, in Theravada Buddhism, it has to be always in reference to the scripture or Pali Canon, Tipitaka, the 3 baskets of teachings of Buddha. You must be able to refer back to those things in accordance. This is what happened. That's why we do this way. Not just, I created it and I planned it. It has to be a reference. And along with that, I want to say something. Number 1, I'm not a scholar. Number 2, I have never learned or I have never taken any training or classes whatsoever in Buddhism in a formal sense. Okay, I don't have anything. Don't think that I know and I read a lot. In fact, I don't even read a lot. But all that I am and all that I know and all that I have learned has come from my teachers. Okay, I have 3 great teachers that I learned directly from. One is called Ashin Janaka Biwinsa. Okay, that's called Chami Sayadaw, which is my immediate and also our Owadachiriya advisory monks of a society. That monk, he has been teaching me since 1992. So that is what I learned, and all his Dhamma talk I listened intently, and all that I am talking about is what I heard and what I learned from him. And then there is another teacher. It's called Sayar Upandita. Okay, Upandita. And he's also passed away now at the age of, I believe, 96, a few years back. I learned directly from him as well. He taught, I trained, just like you're training, I trained under him. I practiced, I went retreat, I listened to his talk. And from those, I learned and I remember. And also there's another teacher called Sayar Usilananda. He resides in California, Hot Moonvale. He was in States since 1979. I learned from him. And from each teacher, I learned different things. The same thing, but different. Everything is about mindfulness, insight, meditation. But everybody has a different approach. And I learned all different styles and different approach from these three teachers. These are my direct teachers. I learned from them. And also there's one teacher called Sayar Ukundala Biwansa. He passed away at 101. Okay. All these teachers passed away except one, Chami Sayadaw, and he's 92 now. Okay. These are four great teachers I learned from, and everything I'm talking, I heard from them, I learned from them, and the books they have written, I read their books. Together with the practice I have been doing for about 3 decades. The experience and all the learning from them I put together, and I'm sharing with you guys again the best that I can. And all these grateful teachers, they are the senior disciple of a monk called Mahasi Sayadaw. He was very famous around in the 1950s, and he is the one who popularized this Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, okay, mindfulness and insight meditation, to the world, to Asia, to Europe, and to North America. And after he passed away, his 4 disciples, there are many of course, but these 4 are the top monks. They carry on till today. And I'm just a satellite of the droppings from these teachers. So I want to clarify clearly, because I'm teaching to the class as well as this video will reach many people. So I want the people who are watching this video, I'm not a learned person. I don't read books. I've never attended any formal classes. And I'm simply sharing all what I know from my experience and what I heard from my teachers. And I have great confidence in my teachers. What they said is true and correct, because they are the leaders of the Theravada Buddhism of this stage, both in theory as well as in practice. They are world-renowned teachers. I have no doubt in what they have taught me. And if there is any error in my talks, it is not of their doing. It is simply my own incompetence that I don't fully understand. If anyone found errors in my talks, I ask forgiveness. That one, I like to make it very clearly. Being said, I like to go back to our normal Dhamma talk, which is, first of all, we take precepts. First of all, we pay respect to the Buddha, Namo Tassa Bhagavato, and then we take refuge, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, and so on 3 times. And after that, we take precepts. And if you look at the paper handout, there's 5 precepts. For your familiarity in sounding, I will recite the Pali as well. Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhabadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from killing living beings. Adena Dana Veramani Sikkhabadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precepts to refrain from taking what is not given. Kamesu Mecha Chada Veramani Sikkhabadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from sexual misconduct. Musavara Veramani Sikkhabadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precepts to refrain from wrong speech. Suramiriya Micca Pamadatthana Veramani Sikkhabadam Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from taking intoxicant which could cloud the mind and cause heedlessness. Those are the 5. And these 5, we call it sila or precepts. Some translate it as morality. We take that 5 precepts and we bow down saying, Buddham Pujami, Dhammam Pujami, Sangham Pujami. I honor and pay respect to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And then we change our position to our sitting meditation posture and we meditate. So this is the foundation. You have to build that. You have to build from the foundation. Because during this 24 hours or during the week time, you may break one or more than one of these precepts, especially in the Western culture. Okay? A glass of beer or a glass of wine is normal. But that's your choice. But regardless, on the day of meditation, on that day try to be not taking anything, especially when you are about to meditate. Because if you are tipsy, you won't be able to be mindful. So you are defeating the purpose, at least that much. So, few hours before meditation and after meditation, keep them. As long as you keep these precepts, you are endowed with the precepts. When you broke it, you broke it. But let's say how will deal with it later. So let's say what is meant by I refrain myself from killing living beings. Okay. And in here, all different culture, different religion, okay, different race, they have all different definition of what is a right killing and wrong killing. Okay, some believe that killing animals is okay, right? Some believe even killing human beings for a certain reason, a certain cause is right. Okay, so there's so many things, changes. But they have their beliefs. I'm not discussing or talking about these beliefs. People will live according to their belief, and based on the way they believe and they live, they have their own consequences. We always have the consequences of our own action. But at the same time, our actions are controlled or streamlined by our belief. Keep that in mind. So as a Buddhist, what is it? What it is killing human beings? Wrong. Killing animals? Wrong. Killing birds? Wrong. Killing insects, ants, butterflies? Wrong. Any living being is wrong. That's why we refrain. Okay? Of course, there are many ways to argue why is this way, why is that way. But we'll just put a very simple, when somebody gets killed, it hurts, it harms. Okay, it hurts, it harms. You don't like to be hurt, you don't like to be harmed. Okay, you don't like to be killed. If you don't want to be killed, you don't kill others. That's very general. Put yourself in someone else's shoe. And if you want more specific example, like actually, let's say, field experience. Okay. Of course, you can argue intelligence. Insects have no intelligence, and so on. So be it. I'm not arguing. Let's say somebody is going to kill you. You don't want to be killed because you love your life. You love your existence. We cling onto our existing. That is the basic, fundamental reason why you don't want to be killed. You love your life and you love your existence. And you have a great intelligence. Let's say, as a little ant, the brain capacity is like, compared to us, is negligible. I don't think they have much intelligence. Some people say they go by instinct. Fine, whatever that is. Now let's put an example, little practical field. Little ant crawling on the floor. Crawling on its own space, okay, slowly, okay, putting out its whisker and antenna, sniffing for food, going about very slowly and leisurely and peacefully, hunting for food. At that moment, you go near that little ant and follow it with a little stick from that. You don't even have to touch it. You just follow it with a little stick. That little ant will run away like crazy, run life, and they're looking for a crack to go and hide it. Why? That little ant loves its life. That little ant loves its existence. Doesn't want to die. So forget about intelligence. We all love our existence. And if you love, and every living being also love their existence, for that reason we should refrain ourselves from killing. Period. Any living beings. That is the first precept. Second precept, okay, is you do not take anything that is not willingly given. We'll rephrase it. I refrain myself from taking anything that is not willingly given. Not only stealing, not only cheating, not only robbing or extortion or by force. Okay. Not only that, even if something is in front of that person, it belongs to that person, you try to take, okay? You know that that person likes that thing, okay? He used that thing very much for whatever that reason is, or whatever that sentimental reason is. But at the same time, for some reason, you had an eye on it. And you have a little bit of a leverage over that person. And you try to squeeze, come on, give it to me. No, come on, give it to me. And then you will say again and again and again, as you have a little bit of leverage over him, eventually he will give it to you. But he's not willingly giving it to you. It's under stress, under distress. He gave it. That is not a proper taking. That goes under the adena dana, not willingly given. Don't take it. And also, of course, everybody will draw a line where they would like to. I'm not saying everybody must be in the perfection. We always draw a line. I use a few examples quite often. Let's say there's a gardener who come and cut grasses in your house. Okay, they just come and cut grass for $50. They do all the job. That is a standard all around. And let's say suddenly a rich Chinese guys come and bought a property and then don't speak much English. They come and then hire a gardener, and he knows that the guy can send this guy he doesn't know much about it. He says, "Oh, I will do this job, that job. I'll charge you only $100." Okay, basically the standard going rate is $50. Out of the ignorance of the person, and then you take it $100. He gave it to you because it's nothing to him. At the same time, okay, you give a very good sales job. That's adena in a Buddhist sense. You are taking advantage out of somebody else's ignorance and taking it. If he knows that the standard rate is $50, he won't give you $100, even if he's a multimillionaire. Regardless how rich, unless they want to give. They might give you $1,000, but heartfelt, willingly, then that's fine. So those are kind of things. Eventually, where would you draw the line? It's decide yourself. The major thing is don't steal, don't cheat, don't rob, don't extort. Those are the key things. But how fine you want to go based on your own conscience. That one has no hard and fast rule. Based on your own conscience, one may do so. That is adena dana. And the third one is, I refrain myself from sexual misconduct. Okay, sexual misconduct, that is a pretty easy to find line. The whole society have a general consensus on it as a society. First of all, you refrain yourself having sexual activities with the minors because they might be physically able, but their mind is not mature yet. Okay? Due to the immaturity of the mind, you take advantage on it. For that reason, one should not. Okay? And also, this one is common to everything, adultery. Adultery is if someone has his own, okay, just the legal consensus. Okay? Husbands and wife legally married, and to have sexual activities with one of the partners, and that is considered also sexual misconduct, breaking the precepts. Because one person agrees, okay, fine. But the other person, if that he or she knows about it, how would that person feel? Okay, that's why you try to hide, for that person not to know. But as soon as the other person knows, then the whole range of complexity arises. Even the family unit will fall apart, break down. Out of rage can be killing, and so on and so forth. There's endless consequences if that conduct is being exposed. Those are the things that can follow. For that reason, you refrain. And the fourth one, musawada, wrong speech. Okay? Wrong speech simply doesn't mean lying only. Of course, lying is one thing, straight. Lying is one thing. And also in Buddhist, they put into 4 divisions, wrong speech. Lying is a wrong speech. Okay? False speech. And also rude and harsh speech is a wrong speech. If somebody talk to you rudely and harshly, you won't like it. so you don't do to others. And also slander. Slander is slipping in words so that you could split the unity of two people or two groups or two countries, to split the unity of others. You slip it in or slide it in a certain words so that it could break up. That's a slander. It may be a false words or fake news, or it may be true, but even the truth, if you are doing with the intent of splitting other people's unity, that is wrong. Lying, rude and harsh words, slander, and the fourth one, that's a very difficult one. Very difficult one. That's why one may draw a line where you can, in these little final ones. It's called frivolous talk. Frivolous talk. Frivolous talk is sitting and talking about all these, let's put it this way, anything that you can see in general in the tabloids. If you talk about it, that's a frivolous talk. I won't go into too details, you can get the idea. Frivolous talk. Or to put it in a different way, whenever one speaks, that speech should be beneficial, productive, and positive. Okay? If it is not beneficial, if it is not productive, it is not positive, don't talk at all. So, if it is not beneficial, positive, and productive, that's called frivolous talk. Okay? Anything under the sun, politics, movies, this, that, and so on and so forth. Gossiping about the neighbors, okay? Gossiping about your fellow workers, co-workers, and so on. These are totally a waste of time. For that reason, we put it under the false speech, because it doesn't produce anything productive and beneficial. And the last one, we refrain ourselves from taking any intoxicant. Okay, that's way. But any substance that could cloud our mind, any substance, whether it is alcohol, wine, or beer, or whiskey, or cocaine, or crack. Nowadays, so many, we don't even know something how they are named. But anyway, whatever you take, it altered your state of mind. Altered your state of mind. Altering your state of mind or clouding your mind is totally opposite to being mindful. It's opposite to mindful. When you are mindful, you always know exactly what you are doing and what you are saying, and you always are conscientious. How do you pronounce that? Conscientious about it is right or wrong, hurtful or harmful, and so on. Because you are grounded on the foundation of sila, precepts, and your decision making always goes based upon it. And if you're mindful, you always do something that is good and wholesome and beneficial. You always avoid something bad, wrong, and unwholesome, and hurtful and harmful. Automatic. All that you need is to be mindful based upon the foundation of precepts. That's why we avoid to take any substance that could alter our state of mind or that could cloud our mind to make us heedless. So that is the fundamental background foundation of mindfulness insight meditation. Now we complete. We have the foundation, and now we know how to build the walls, the floors, and the roof. Simply, it's to construct now, which means practice, practice, practice. So may all of you be able to practice Satipatthana, Vipassana, mindfulness, insight meditation, based on the solid foundation of precepts, which means does not hurt or harm anyone. And may you be able to see through a series of insights of existence as soon as possible. Sadhu, 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 Buddham bhujami, Dhammam bhujami, Sangham bhujami. Thank you very much.